Larry takes Latin.
Hey John, how you doing?
I think we're trying to make it happen. I think we can make it happen. It's just something it's not.
I spent 3 years begrudgingly. In 3 years.
Yes, they work on it.
don't get taken by the government. They have to show somebody that has like a they can hear them.
I'm not saying anything yet. You're like my idol. No, you can't.
I smell like I changed my shirt. It's probably my hair. Oh, you know, is it me sitting here? No, I did change my shirt, but I teach students all day in my class cooking. It's like I guess I'm not. I think they do. Yeah. Most of mine, I can smell myself. I feel like I smell like vegetable. Which is the one that I can't
It makes me want to chew it like that. I start gnawing on my hands.
over there.
I'm about to.
I know what I'm doing. If I get in trouble, go with your friends. I'm gonna go get that. What else? I want to sit with my friends.
Dr. George, I was like, what? And then
Getting ready to go there, you have 40 elementary students who are reading and
where's their closed session? Where are they?
I don't know. I guess they're in the back, like writing letters about attendance. Kids who have 5 days out.
Yes.
Yeah, because I got a phone call when Sean broke his leg last year. Son's been out of school numerous days. I'm like, my son's got a broken leg.
I had walked that way. Mason was 5 days, 2 days before Thanksgiving, and 3 days after. 2 fever, bronchitis, the whole 9 yards. Come back after break, I got a letter in the mail, a letter in the school, and a phone call that they're concerned about his attendance.
Yeah, 5 days.
5 days.
5 days. My kid was out 3 weeks. They called me after, I want to say maybe it was 6 or 7 days. Does he need a tutor? No, he doesn't need a tutor. He needs to be left alone. He broke his leg in 2 places. Do you know what a broken leg in 2 places feels like? She was like, I said, call my house again. Call me again.
It's all about the,
Mr. Milando, the principal of Fairview, he goes, Mrs. Joe, you all right? I'm like, calls me again.
and I get it. It's a chain of command. I email staff if this is absolutely. And last year, for waste, I got the certified letter in the mail. How much money do people waste on it for 5 days? And no, that was when Mason hit 7 days. And he excused absences for going into Christmas classes.
It drives me nuts that take your kid to work day. That is excused, but a death in the family or being sick is not.
102 fever, you want my son?
When my grandfather passed away, my cousin Diana had perfect attendance so far in St. Anne's Grammar School. And the principal told her, oh, she goes to the funeral, you know, that was her perfect attendance. My aunt and me both went into the school. I told the principal, Sister Dora. I said, you really are going to take away a perfect attendance from a child because of a grandfather.
Oh, here we go. 8:26. Sit back. You don't want me to get going earlier.
You guys
Excuse me, guys. Pardon me.
Meeting will now come to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by sending such notice to the Asbury Park Press, the Middletown Patch, and the Middletown Township Public School District's website, and the posting of such notice at the August T. Minor administrative offices at each elementary, middle, and secondary school in the district. Roll call.
Mrs. Palmetti, Mr. DeFranco, Mr. Donlin.
Here.
Mr. Schreiber.
Here.
Mr. Little.
Here.
Mrs. Minimes, Mrs. Wright, Mrs. Stellar, Mrs. Rogers.
Here. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, like to call for an impromptu presentation on the proposed administration organization.
We're going to start with the operational component of the district. And there's not a lot of changes in anybody's job description or jobs that they do. It's more of their placement and their responsibility to certain groups. So I'm going to talk about Mr. Ranella, who's the District Director of Support Services for the district. Right now, this year and prior, he's been housed up in central office. But to give more support to high school north operations, he's going to be located here in high school north next year. I don't know, how familiar you are if you come to our parent presentations, but we do have a problem, as every school in probably the country, with vaping, which also brings other behaviors into the school, such as substance use, that our principals have been working to eliminate. So Mr. Ranella will be another help here to support our efforts in that. Also, our special ed directors, Ms. Timmons, Ms. Kransky, and Ms. Schreck, who were normally housed up in central office, will also be out at the buildings. They are each going to take a level. Ms. Timmons is going to be at the elementary level. She'll be housed at New Monmouth to help support that school, but all the elementary schools. Ms. Kransky, she will be at the middle schools, and Dorn particularly. And Ms. Schreck will support the high school. She will be housed at High School South that has a lot of our special education programs. But they each have an area of focus for the whole district-wide. So Ms. Timmons is going to be focusing on all the class programs in the district. Ms. Goransky is responsible for the child study teams, and Ms. Schreck is the liaison to the curriculum department. Her expertise is in instruction, particularly like in-class support instruction, those areas. So not only will our administrators have a clear line of communication at their level, whether it's an elementary principal or middle school assistant principal, parents will have a clear line of who they speak to when they have something that they want to discuss with the special ed person, administrator. Did I miss anything else?
Good evening. There we go. Good evening. I'm Kim Pegas, I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Human Resources, so I'll speak to those departments. We have had many conversations over the past couple months with building administration, parents, students, regarding our academic programs and student achievement, our school performance reports, and where we have room for growth, and where we can address areas where students, we want to help support them in closing their achievement gaps. And in doing so, we have some slight reorganization in the areas of curriculum, instruction, and human resources to again further support the buildings and the students. Mrs. Caruso, one of our district directors of curriculum and instruction, she's going to also be housed over here at High School North, most specifically supporting both high schools in promoting and articulating our academic programs with our guidance counselors to ensure that there is clear communication and support for our students and our families as they enter high school and they start on a track towards either college or careers when they leave here, making sure that our guidance counselors, she's going to be working with them to make sure our guidance counselors can support our students in making decisions that are best for their future goals. So she will be an important liaison between the curriculum department and the guidance departments at both high schools. In addition, she's going to be working very closely with our school principals to create action plans to address areas where students' performance is not where we feel satisfied and where we know that there's areas for growth. So she will be working with the principals and the teachers in ensuring that our curriculum, that our directors and supervisors create along with our teachers is being implemented with fidelity across all 17 schools. Mrs. O'Hagan is going to be working very closely with principals in terms of their evaluation of staff and how we can use evaluation methods to help improve instruction. We are going to be collapsing one of our director of curriculum roles And that is after much discussion with our building administration, Mrs. Walker, Dr. George, and the district directors and I, we, in talking especially to our high school administration, we realized that there is a need at this point because of many of the things that Mrs. Walker just mentioned, vaping, social emotional issues, other issues that come up with behaviors like engaging in vaping. We need to have more support in our buildings operationally and assisting our students, especially our disaffected students. So we are going to be creating 2 new assistant principal roles at both high school, 1 for each high school, here at High School North and at High School South. That's through reorganization. It's not additional positions. It's using our current administrators. It's collapsing a director of curriculum role, and it's reducing one of our APs of guidance. So it's not any additional administrators. It's using our current administrative team and just reassigning them to other positions in the district. I want to reinforce that because that is one of the challenges that this district currently faces with our declining enrollment and our reduction in state aid. We have to learn how to address the needs of the district without increasing our budget or increasing positions. So we are looking to transfer Mr. Virginio, who was very successful here as an assistant principal at High School North. He's going to be coming back to that role, working with transitioning our freshmen, working with the Freshman Academy as they move and transition from Thorn and Bayshore to North, and also supporting our guidance department with a lot of the knowledge he's gained in working in curriculum when it comes to our academic programs. Dr. Trudell, who has been, he was a very successful high school assistant principal for many years here in Middletown, prior to being transferred to Thompson a couple years ago. He also has an extensive background in guidance. He's one of our 2 administrators amongst our team who does have that specific area of expertise. So we are transferring Dr. Trudell, recommending the transfer of Dr. Trudell to High School South to again work in a similar role as Mr. Virginio, transitioning our middle schoolers, who he's very familiar with, having worked with them at Thompson, as the Freshman Academy assistant principal, working with our incoming open houses for our 7th and 8th grade families, as well as supporting guidance, which again is his area of specialty, when it comes to students' needs in terms of 504s, INRS. If you've ever been involved in any of those things, you know why they're important to certain students, and overseeing daily operations out of the guidance office. Anything else in terms of?
You did mention he's doing the Freshman Academy, so he'll be not only working regularly with the freshman class to transition them through their first year in high school, he will also work with the 7th, 8th grade open houses, and he'll have oversight of parent communication and naviance, and that's something new that 8th, 9th graders have to really begin to understand and use constantly, because that's the communication between the guidance and the students and the parents. That's about it.
So we do recognize that Thompson is unique in its size, that no one can kind of deny that. It has a large student population, and transferring Dr. Trudell to work with helping that transition from our current middle schoolers to high school leaves a vacancy at Thompson. And what we are recommending is appointing Ms. Fox, who is a very successful, very seasoned assistant principal currently at High School South, to work with Mr. Curry at Thompson to lead that building together and face the challenges that Thompson brings, again, because of its size on a daily basis. So again, there's no increase in administration. It's the same number of positions. We're just reorganizing them to better meet the needs of the students, the parents, and the community, and in supporting their academics as well as their social emotional needs.
The speakers. Did you talk about the guidance part of it? You mentioned the
So yeah, currently we have 2 assistant principals of guidance at the high school level. They both are currently doing wearing many hats. In addition to overseeing the guidance counselors and the day-to-day operations of the office in both high schools, a tremendous part of their responsibilities is scheduling and assisting families and counselors with college planning. In addition to all those other things that I just mentioned that Mr. Virginio and Dr. Trudell are going to be able to support. So currently, for example, Ms. Nicholas over at South is also overseeing, in addition to all those other things, scheduling, college planning, supervision of the counselors. She's doing the 504, the INRS, the independent learning opportunities, home instruction. So right now, we're going to really focus her in on the role of scheduling and supporting families and students with college planning, and therefore reducing one assistant principal of guidance is why the 2 new assistant principal roles, 1 in each school, they're going to fill in that extra support of the guidance department through the ways that I mentioned.
And one of the really important things that we thought about when we created this was to get consistency between the 2 high schools so that things are done the same. The guidance counselors operate under the same protocols, and we thought that was really important that students at both schools were getting the same messages about, colleges and programs and classes and just to keep that consistency.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one more topic that we'd like to address. I want to ask Mr. Taylor to explain non-renewal and how that works.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As a general proposition, pursuant to New Jersey statute, every year, only before May 15th, the chief school administrator, superintendent, has an obligation to notify all employees, specifically non-tenured employees, of 1 or 2 things. Either his intent to recommend to the Board of Education a renewal of their employment contract for the next school year, and/or alternatively to notify that individual employee of his intent not to recommend renewal of the employment contract for the next school year. Employees, when they are hired by a local Board of Education, are hired on an annual basis until they get tenure, if they're in a tenure eligible position. Prior to receiving tenure or they're not eligible for tenure, they are limited to a 1-year contract. There is no entitlement to renewal of that contract on an annual basis. If the employee is given a notice of non-renewal, there is no action before the board. The Board of Education does not vote on a non-renewal. It is purely the superintendent's decision with his administrative team whether to offer that employment subject to the board approving it. If the employee is not renewed, again, the board does not vote on that. However, if an employee does receive a notice of non-renewal, they can request what's called a statement of reasons, which will be an itemized list of why the employee was not recommended for renewal, whether it be fiscal or financial constraints in the district, performance, etc. After receipt of that statement of reasons, the employee can request what's called a Donaldson hearing, which is an informal appearance before the Board of Education in closed executive session, at which time that employee can essentially plead their case, explain why they think the administration got it wrong, why they think the administration and the board should reconsider, and why they think the board should, in this instance, in the only instance, the board should vote to essentially overturn the superintendent or alter them contract for the next year. That's the only time the Board of Education, the elected board members, can vote to hire someone without a recommendation of the superintendent. But the important thing is, again, we have a public comment period. The first one is typically for agenda items only. If your comments are about a non-renewal of someone that you may have heard about, that's not on the agenda because there's no board action for non-renewals. Thank you.
Thank you, Lester. At this time, I see that there's a lot of students in the audience. I'd like a motion to have a short 15-minute comment session for just the students in the audience.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
I think that it's important. We have a really nice turnout here. This is the sort of thing that actually makes me feel proud of Middletown to know that our community comes together like this. The students come out. I also think it's important that we don't keep everybody here as late as this meeting might go. And so I believe the right thing to do is to put in this special comment period so that they can take advantage of it and state their case and be heard by the Board of Education.
You're talking about students and non-students?
Right now, just students.
This would be for students only. Yes.
I have a question. Is this so they can talk about anything? It doesn't matter what's on the
Doesn't have to
agenda?
be on the agenda.
Okay, what about these adults that are standing here with their students?
The adults will have to wait till the end of the meeting to comment on non-agenda items. If it's an agenda item, so something like the organizational chart, they can comment after the children.
And I'll just note that is the ordinary standard protocol for this Board of Education since I've been representing, to my knowledge, 4 years and years on end.
I think you should just try to clarify for everybody when they adults. I think that's what.
Yeah,
Yes, the adults are absolutely welcome to speak on non-agenda items, just later, so that we can get other things done. We have people who want to speak on other things that are on the agenda. Okay, so, all in favor? That motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So if we could have the children who would like to speak, the students, come on up and speak. We do have a 3-minute limit for each speaker so that we can hear as many people as possible. So just try to keep it to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, and as each speaker comes to the podium, please just state your name.
My name is John Falcone. I'd like to speak on the decision to not renew the contract of Mike Alessi. And throughout the past 3 years, I've known Coach Alessi. He's coached me on the hockey team before. And I've noticed a couple things about him these past years. One, I've never seen a man put more effort and heart into everything that he does, more than him. Every time we've gone to the local rink to go see the special needs students at the elementary schools, I've never seen the ear-to-ear smile come off his face. And that's just how he is. His day is made by making other people happy. Number two, I can honestly say that he's one of the nicest human beings that I've ever met in my life. That's not an exaggeration. And at hockey tryouts my junior year, I had an injury immediately. Went right to the hospital. Before any people in my family even texted me, or my dad, how I was doing. He was the first person to text to see how I was doing, if I needed anything, how I was feeling. And he's a very caring man. And not only that, but he's extremely easy to talk to about anything. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, sports, not sports, personal issues, you can definitely go to him. And he'll definitely give you a heartfelt answer of what it is. He'll sit down and think about it, and he's going to give you what he thinks is going to be the best option for you. That's just how he is. If you ever mess up, like I said, outside of sports, on sports, he's not going to yell at you. That's not how he is. He's going to talk to you. He's going to tell you what you did wrong and what you can do better the next time. And the last thing I noticed, that he really does put himself, he puts other people in front of himself. He's the first person to ask if you need anything, and anything he can do to help you out. He always wants to be there for you, and he wants to make sure that everybody's doing okay, especially his students. And how I deal with children, between my job and child development class day in and day out, and talking to these parents, I can definitely tell that they want what's best for their kids. And what's best for these kids, if you ask any parent or close to your parents, you want somebody that's going to put in the effort and the time and who's going to care about how their child is doing and their well-being, as opposed to just someone who just wants to get paid. They don't really care that much. And Coach Michael Alessi is definitely the man who's going to put in the time and the effort, because he really does enjoy what he does, and he really loves it. Thank you.
My name is Ryan Smith, and I also like to talk about Mr. Alessi. So, Mr. Alessi is probably the nicest gym teacher I've ever met in my life. When I first came into my school,
It's okay, you can come back up on the end if you want to.
Hi, my name is Alex Jones. When I first met Mr. Alessi, he was so nice to me. He was so kind. He spared everybody. And he treated everybody so nice. Mr. Leslie.
Come around the front of the podium. There you go.
Please keep Mr. Leslie. I just wanted to say that having Mr. Leslie in school every day is just amazing for everybody to just walk in and see him, because he's always so happy to greet everybody, and he has a special bond with every kid that he sees, and he makes phys ed always so fun for everybody, and he's always understanding, and he's just a guy that you always know that you can go and count on and talk to.
Mr. Leslie is a kind, caring, hardworking, and generous teacher. He puts the best interests of his students first. He welcomes us every morning with a smile, and he protected us with his stop sign. Please reconsider your decision and give Mr. Leslie the position he deserves and earns.
Come around the front. Come around. There you go.
Say that Mr. Leslie is one of the best teachers I have ever had at New Monmouth Elementary School, and I look forward to every Monday and Friday that I see him.
As well as the hockey team here, I also believe that Mr. Leslie is the nicest, kind-hearted teacher, coach, dad, man on this earth. He truly does put himself in front of others, as he makes others in front of himself. And like half these elementary kids came out here and said that he always has a special bond with everyone whenever we walk into the rink. He's always the first person to shake your hand, ask you how your day was, anything to make it better. On the ice, even in the middle of a practice, I had a conversation with him about college in the middle of a drill. It's things like that that really bond not only just people but also kids to adults. And it's really just the respect and the value that he provides to just our team, to the school district, to any of these kids, his family, anyone who made it. And everyone will also give you positive respect for Mr. Leslie. And another thing I just want to say that definitely for every single hockey banquet that we have, when we hand out, participation, varsity letters, go over everything, every single kid that comes up that's on his team, he has a nice, pretty well written paragraph about everyone, whether it's something funny, something stupid that happened, or the team that made everyone laugh. He's definitely one of those people to give a good heartfelt speech in the locker room to turn the game around, and really, he's just a good man. He really brings everyone together, the team, family, and as a teacher.
Okay, seeing nobody else come to the mic, I would like to open up the microphone to public comment on agenda items only.
First of all, as superintendent of schools, I want to say to the students and to the community that come out to support, we really do appreciate your voice. We, as previously stated, I think that we are a climate where we're in a climate as an administrative team and as a Board of Education where we really do want to hear our students' voice, and we want to know what you think. And we're grateful that you've shown the leadership you have tonight and have come here and spoke before the board. I've taken notes on what you've said. We will bring back and discuss all of your feedback. So thank you very much.
So now I'd like to open up the microphone to comments on agenda items only from the public.
It's an awful hard act to follow.
Bureau of Safety, Middletown. I wanted to ask a question about the org chart. Again, I've always had kind of a philosophical issue with special ed being under more operations and not directly under curriculum. I know you have a liaison to curriculum, but I don't understand how certain things get addressed. For example, Mrs. Caruso now has K-12 report cards. So is now she responsible for K-12 report cards in special ed?
There are no different report cards for special ed.
Well, there are modified grading. There are different things that happen there that we need to understand and teachers need to understand. And
So the report card templates that we use,
yeah.
Mrs. Caruso currently oversees, that's something she actually already oversees. It is used for both general education and special education.
Okay. I would just encourage you guys again. The perception is more, when you have special ed going up through operations, it's where do we put them versus how do we educate them. And I know that's not what you want. But I don't see any dotted lines. I don't see any hard lines.
It's not, I oversee operations and special education.
Excuse me, if we could let the speaker ask their questions, make their comments first, and then the board and our administration will respond. That way they get their opportunity to give them your 5 minutes, and then we can respond to the public.
There's just a heck of a lot of talent in curriculum as well as other departments. I don't mean to demean a different department, but for somebody who has a child that is fully included or trying to keep her child fully included, she's kind of homeless because the principals don't necessarily take the lead. You know, she's under special ed, but in my mind, she's a general ed student. So it's very confusing. I don't mean to criticize anybody. I don't understand the tie-in to curriculum and would just like you guys to think about that. Thank you.
Okay, so next item on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the following request for proposal for strategic planning RFP for 2019. I'm sorry. The RFP 19-02 to Princeton Public Affairs Group.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Okay. Moving on to number 10, recommendations of the superintendent of schools. Moving on to the personnel report, I need a motion to approve items number 1 through 4. Personnel report. So it's page 1 of 1 on the personnel report. I need a motion to approve number 1 through 4.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? On the addendum, number 10, I need a motion to approve A2 through 9. To approve numbers 2 through 9, I'll do 10 separate.
So moved.
Discussion?
Yes. I am going to vote no on number 6, the transfer of Tudell. Although Mr. Tudell was a high school once before, he's an excellent high school administrator, excellent. My concern is Thompson is our biggest middle school. And taking him out of there now, I feel, my personal opinion, that that's detrimental. I think that Mr. Curry and Mr. Mr. Trudell have done a great job keeping Thompson together with the overcrowding. We should really be thanking them more than we do, because they have kept that school together, put our kids first, and I think that this move is going to be a bad move. So I will be voting no on that one.
Okay. I need a motion to approve number 10. Sorry, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm opposed on number 5, number 6, and number 9.
I'm voting no on number 5 and 6.
If we could, and you can do a roll call for the personnel for their appointments and transfers, that was just clear minutes. No one of those definitions are listed for a roll call for those.
Beginning of the personnel. Wait. It's in the personnel.
Mrs. Kennedy, I am voting no to 5 and 6. Yes, and yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Mrs. Little.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams.
I am voting no on 5, 6, and 9.
And yes on Mrs. Murray.
Yes.
Mrs. Settle.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on. I need a motion to approve number 10, A through M.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. I will be voting no on letter J and letter K. I just feel, and this is my personal opinion, am I allowed to say that, Mr. Taylor? I'm giving my personal opinion on why? Okay.
You'll have to explain why.
But I do want to, because it means something to me. We have a director of curriculum, Mrs. O'Haley, who has done curriculum for years and years. And she is so passionate, experienced, and her knowledge in this area. Why we would take somebody out of that area when we have excelled so much in curriculum over the years, it doesn't make sense to me. We're putting her in a position that she hasn't really done before.
I'm sorry, I think we should be, you as a board, collectively, should be careful about speaking publicly about individual members of the staff from a personnel standpoint. I understand that it sounds like a glowing recommendation in this instance, but it's connected with action on the agenda. More appropriate to discuss in closed session.
Then I'll just keep going on about this position. I think
can't hear you.
I think taking that position away is a mistake. I have never heard anybody, talk about us needing to cut at that level of administration for those positions. And I think that both the curriculum positions we have are very important to this district, and they've made our kids excel. We have done nothing but growing curriculum over the 18 years I've been on this board. And the passion that the people in those positions now have, we wouldn't be where we are without that. And I hate the fact that we're gonna lose that. So that's my opinion.
First of all, I think it's very important, this is another thing that goes back to our state. So we have a 10% decrease in administration in the last year. Those moves, as it relates to our district directors, they're very important roles, as explained in closed session, that they're going to be responsible for. But because of that 10% decrease in administrators in the last year, we cannot afford the duplication of expertise. And our district directors, as you pointed out, are extremely effective and are doing an outstanding job. And it's very important for them to take on other responsibilities. As Ms. Peak has pointed out in closed session, it's not that they're not going to have a substantial curricular role. It's just that we can't afford duplication of subject-specific oversight.
I just want to answer that because I kind of disagree with some of the things you're saying, and that's okay. But We're here as a Board of Education to put our students first. And one of the most important things of our students is the curriculum that we offer and teach. And we have gotten an excellent job from that, and every year it grows. And it gets better and better. The offerings that we have, the work that these people do, that's why I disagree with it. I understand that you're saying enrollment's dropping, but one thing that doesn't change is we still have to provide an excellent curriculum to our students, and I'm sure we will, but I think the passion that the people in these positions have is what makes Middletown what it is.
All in favor? Opposed?
I'm opposed on J and K. We're just doing 10 right now, right? Yep. J and K.
Okay, and abstentions? Okay, I need a motion on number 11, approval of reemployment of staff for 2019-2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I just wanted to clarify, for the records and also because we have a lot of folks watching that may not understand what this is. This is reemployment for particular items. This is non-bargaining unit personnel. This is administrators, certificated staff, secretarial staff, and facility staff. So just to be clear for everybody out here.
Okay, all in favor? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Cavallari?
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Little?
Yes.
Mrs. Bailey?
Yes.
Mrs. Wright?
Yes.
Mrs. Stella?
Yes.
Mrs. Rogers?
Yes. Okay, I need a motion to approve number 12, the revised 2019-2020 organizational chart.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Yes. Again, I'm voting no. I have fought for years, a couple of us have been on here, for guidance counselors. And we managed to increase the number of guidance counselors that we have had. The explanation we're being given about the two schools we begged, yeah. First of all, let me go back a little. The most important thing to our high school kids to guide them is our guidance counselors and our guidance department. And it's harder and harder every year. Kids have different needs, hardships. I don't feel we have enough guidance counselors in our high schools to give our kids the attention and the direction that they need. For us to say that one assistant principal is going to be able to take care of both high schools, that's an amazing task. If the issue is that we need both high schools to be on the same page, then we need to leave those two positions the way they were and train the two people to do exactly the same thing in each high school, if it's different at all. I just think this is a humongous task for one person to do. And I know you say that we're bringing in assistant principals that have guidance background, but if you listen all the things that you're saying that these assistant principals are going to do, they're not going to have much time to spend in guidance. It's great that they have the background, and it's good for a fallback, but it's really not helping our kids.
They didn't have the time last time to help our children. That's why we begged to put in another guidance counselor. We wanted it. And we finally got it, and now we're taking it away. We also asked about rewriting curriculum for guidance so that the kids get help and get into colleges that they want. They need that help from freshman year. So when they get to senior year, they're on track of where they want to go. I can't vote for this organizational chart. I cannot. I fought too hard for you to bring us a guidance counselor in. So I'm sorry, Supervisor.
I would concur that guidance is really important. And under my direction, working with principals from the very first year I got here, when I got here, we did not have social behavior support specialists in the elementary. Every year we've added. This year we've added again, which is counselors on the elementary level. We've added counselors on the middle school, as you pointed out. All of that were recommendations, from my perspective, that came directly from central office administration, working with building level administrators. So I would concur that there has been a need over time for guidance counselors. There was no cut, I want to be clear, of a guidance counselor in this in this budget. What there was, once again, was a move away from duplication of services. So what that, and as explained in closed session, what that's allowed for Ms. Nicholas to be able to do is really focus on guidance. It's the district directors and the other administrators that are taking on the additional responsibilities outside of guidance, like testing. And that's where it's really important for us, and the whole motive behind this organizational chart is to take our administrators and put them down on the buildings with our students, with our building level administrators to provide additional support, not to take support away. And in Ms. Nicholas's case, it's to allow her to focus on those jobs and responsibilities of the counselors. So I just wanted to put that.
Dr. George, can I ask a clarifying question? Or actually a couple. Is the number of guidance counselors in the high schools changing from this school year to next school year? I asked Dr. George, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, so we will have the same number of guidance counselors at South as we will at North next year than we do this year. But instead of the guidance counselors at South reporting to Ms. Nicholas and the guidance counselors at North reporting to, I don't remember their name, I'm sorry, they will now all as a group report to Mrs. Nicholas. Is that correct?
And any other responsibilities outside of guidance, like testing, be given to other district level administrators to assist with those roles.
So the amount of contact our students have with guidance counselors will not change from this academic year to next academic year.
And other roles will actually increase. We have elementary guidance in addition to what we
But just in the high school.
No, not.
But just to go, ahead, like that.
Okay. A few years ago, when we came across the position that you organized to have a guidance counselor with navigating and assessment. And I know that you weren't entirely happy with giving us that position, but we asked for it. And the following year, when it came to recommend it again, you explained that two principals had come to you and said, look, we are okay with one guidance counselor per school. Right? Is that still the same? The principals are all okay with your recommendations here?
Yes, the principals are aligned with our recommendations, that's correct. They were, this, as pointed out by Ms. Pincus, and I think that's where you're getting in closed session, this was not done as a top-down central office move. Actually, we met with the high school principals and with the principals to discuss the moves that we made. Yes.
I still want to go on the record that I was well aware it wasn't a guidance counselor position, it's supervisory. And I still think that that supervisory position in each high school is important for the guidance counselors to be working with that assistant principal and guide our children and solve problems. I don't see where these new assistant principals are going to be having time to fit into that position. And I think it's going to be one big task for Mrs. Nicholas.
Two things to clarify that. One, there's going to be one additional assistant principal at each high school to assist taking positions offline from central office and directors and supervisors and putting them at that level. And the other thing, that's really why it's important for Dr. Trudell to make that move to high school guidance, where in high school guidance, as students prepare to go to college, it is very important for us to have as much oversight as possible. So his expertise is really going to be needed at that level, and that's why the administrative team as a whole has made that recommendation.
I'm going to take my vote back, because I'm really good with the guidance counselor. That was my point. Okay, I understand you. Thank you for clarifying it. Yes. I really took it as a guidance counselor. I was very upset with the guidance. I think it's a lot of work for Mrs. Nichols. I think she's fantastic. Okay, I don't even supposed to talk about it. But I'm going to take it back. I wouldn't watch it. I'm telling you, I'm going to be watching, complaining if they don't get it. Because it's a big thing about high school. They need help. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Abstentions? Okay. That brings us to the end of personnel, all right? Okay.
At this time, I need a motion to adjourn the special voting meeting and open the pre-meeting workshop.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Do we, I know that this is a long night, but do we ever take any sort of a break between these two? Or just go ahead?
Well, let's do it. Let's go ahead. You want to go take a break?
No, it's good.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, at this time, we'd like to have our presentation of our district goals and strategic plan update.
I'm not sure where the lighting is.
In the back. Just the control panel. They're like. Okay, so while we're transitioning, I know Mr. Cohen is trying to dim the lights so you can see the slides a little bit more easily. If you were with us here, and I see some familiar faces, back in December and January, in addition to the board members, there's some audience members who are with us a lot each month. You know that we gave a mid-year update on our progress towards our district goals that were established last July, working collaboratively with the Board of Education and the administration in achieving larger objectives that are defined in our 5-year strategic plan. And this is the last year of our current strategic plan. So we will be, that's hence why the board just approved a new firm to consult with to develop our new plan that will drive a lot of our future goals. So with that being said, tonight's presentation really takes us from the midpoint of last year, technically of 2018, when we first reported out in December on what we had achieved up to that point, moving forward. So this is achievements, initiatives, programs that have been fleshed out and brought into the district since that December, January time point as they relate to student success, community partnerships, long-range facilities, finance, and community relations, public relations. We have several of our directors and supervisors and managers here this evening who oversee different curricular areas, special education areas, our IT department, and operations that are going to speak to many of these initiatives. Thank you.
I'm Jessica Shaw, Director of Staff Development and Special Programs. So I'm just going to speak briefly about the GNT program. The first time we met, we were just rolling in our new program, K-6, and we had a great deal of success this year. We have managed to run through 2 cycles of gifted and talented, very heavily focused on personalized learning and embedding that experience for students within the classroom environment. We've got a lot of positive feedback, and our educational technology specialists have really been invaluable in helping us to implement this program and get it up and running.
I'm John Kerrigan, Director of Mathematics K-12, and in terms of math across the district, we've continued our focus on active learning with our new active learning labs in high schools, and also incorporating active learning across secondary, middle school, and elementary as well, using Edpuzzle to flip the classroom, and choice boards, which allow students to pick the way they want to learn a topic, whether it's through one-on-one instruction, small group, a video tutorial, a text, whichever way they feel is best. But they all pave their own way and then take the same assessment at the end. And we're continuing to work more in that direction for the following school year.
Hi, I'm Wendy Morales, Supervisor of Digital Media Arts and Technology. And I just wanted to highlight a couple upcoming events that are really student-driven. Our students have been working really hard for our third annual Innovation Fair on June 10th, so please come out. And many of our students are doing Spark or Genius Hour projects, and one of them is actually running our very first Middletown TEDx event. He's in 5th grade at Lynn School, so that is going to be May 30th. So please come out and support our students.
Hello, I'm Angela Merrill, Supervisor of Elementary Curriculum and Instruction. And one way at the elementary level that we are working to support personalized learning is by taking a look at the professional development offerings for our teachers. We looked at some data and found that, for example, one area of teacher need was in shared reading for kindergarten. We took that data, we developed professional development over the course of the school year to help improve student reading, and we also revised the criteria for intervention. And that's one example of how we're helping to support the teachers and setting goals for students.
In middle school, we're really proud of, I'm Cindy Van Lon, Supervisor of K-12 Literacy. We're really proud of the middle school and the book clubs and choice reading that they have embraced, and the academic discourse that is developed through those types of learning practices. So that we took a look at that and how engaging it is for our students, and what we did is that we bridged it up into the new curriculum in the 9th and 10th grade when we rewrote it. So students will have more choice besides the core novel in our high school classes starting in 9th and 10th grade. So we are scaffolding that up into the high schools. And so that our students in the high schools will see more book club choices along with independent reading choices as well.
Hi, Chris Virginia, K-12 Director of World Language, Business Education, and Social Studies. I'm going to speak for a minute regarding college and career readiness. So we've been doing a number of different things to try to prepare our students for life outside of schools. That includes some of the things that you see up here. We were able to establish a partnership with the New Jersey Council for Economic Education. This partnership is going to afford us the opportunity to learn from professionals in the field with respect to some of our career readiness, career exploration, as well as financial literacy. They're going to be providing us with free professional development, so our teachers, especially at the middle school level, who are now going to be teaching certain financial literacy standards, are going to be well versed in those, in addition to some of the other things you see up here. We also launched our senior flex option here at the high school, which again, you've heard some of my colleagues discuss some of the flexibility, student choice. This gives our students the options of exploring opportunities outside of school if they've earned the requisite amount of credits. We took a real hard look at our advanced placement program, which was one of the most significant changes that we were able to make this year as a team. We really sought to have an all-inclusive program so that any student that is academically prepared and wants to challenge has the opportunity to take some of our most rigorous courses. And we're proud to say that at both High School North and High School South next year, we have roughly 200 freshmen that are going to be taking AP World History. So we're really proud of that. And then last but not least, we are currently collaborating with GE Harness Construction to identify areas where Middletown students may be able to intern with this company so that they're able to experience all facets of a very important industry.
Thank you, Chris. I'm Steve Graziano, Director of Fine Performing Practical Arts here in our great district. Here to talk about a few of the initiatives that we've had since January that is in place here. One of the biggest things we've done is we're growing our academy, our academies that we have here. So in January, we accepted applications from new students. We have more than doubled our academy from this year to next year. We have over 50 accepted applicants into our academy for next year. We have 20-something plus now. So we're very excited about that. We have maintained and brought in about up to 12 plus guest speakers to our current academy, and they address them in our transition period. And really most exciting, we are bringing in the Dance Academy next year. We're adding our 6th track. And thanks to our collaboration with the Middletown Arts Center, we'll be using their facility for the dance studio. So we're very excited about that, and we're excited to welcome our new students that are going to be coming into our academy here next year. Thank you.
Hi, Sharon Timmons, Director of Special Class Programs. So in the beginning of the year, we started creating paraprofessional workshops that we identified, the paras identified they wanted support in. Some of these were roles of paraprofessionals, ABA training, how to handle difficult behaviors, how to take data, to supporting the workshop model. We are currently working to explore an opportunity with Rutgers University where we would look at evidence-based practices of behavioral sports interventions for a one-to-one coaching model with paraprofessionals with the psychology department. So that's exciting. We're also looking to explore the option to expand the XLE program and create tower gardens where the general ed students would learn how to grow and plant different plants and vegetables of their choice, and work with Ms. Shrek at the high school.
Hi, Danielle Shrek, Supervisor of Special Education Instruction. We're happy to say that we're going to be increasing the writing support in the upper elementary grades. We're going to be working very closely, continue to work very closely with the content directors in providing all professional development for in-class support teachers, resource room teachers, LLD teachers, NG, autism, etc., to make sure that the programs are running smoothly across all settings. We're looking to also include more additional lab sites within the middle school and also the high school.
So I'm going to speak on behalf of the middle school administration tonight. As you know, we launched our new middle school schedule this year. We've received a tremendous amount of positive feedback regarding the restructuring of the middle school day to a more consistent schedule that students don't have to fret about when they walk in the door. What day am I on? What classes do I have? And the mic is phasing out. I think we talked too long already. Maybe that's a cue. So right now what we're doing is at the end of the year, we've set aside some time to meet with teacher representatives, with administrators to talk about areas that have been successful and other areas where we can continue to make improvements. We have been very pleased with the development over the course of the year of the advisory period. It started off, we knew it was going to be new, we knew it was going to take time to improve upon it and what it offers our students. We look forward to continuing those efforts next year.
Just a quick update on future ready certification. We are getting ready to submit all of our evidence by mid-June. The ed tech team has been working very hard to collect it. One of the things that I think we're most proud of as a district is that we have over 20 teacher leaders volunteering on the Future Ready Awards Committee with the NJDOE and school boards to score other district submissions. So that's really special as an educator to be able to see other districts across the state and what they're submitting as evidence so we can learn and grow together. The partnerships we've also developed through this process have been invaluable. We've been learning from other schools, they've been learning from us, and we hope and cross our fingers that we get to the next level.
So we have launched a brand new professional development schedule this year, and we have met with a great deal of success in doing so. We rolled it out in September, but did add a couple of new things as the year progressed. We launched for our teaching staff the ability to choose independent study options, where they get to dictate the course of what they would like to learn based on their own needs and their own interests in the classroom. It is in line with exactly what we promote for our student learners in personalized learning, and is a great way for us as a district to be able to expand the capacity of over 1,000 employees. The other piece of that, which will be moving forward with the finalizing for this year and moving forward with next year, is the idea of micro-credentialing and adding that in as an option for independent study. The other large initiative, which is in line with growing the capacity of our teaching staff at the secondary level for personalized learning, is our job embedded PD initiative, where we have had participants at the high school and middle school level have release time during the school day to not only visit other classrooms, but more importantly, collaborate with their colleagues about instructional strategies and initiatives that are happening, and the feedback that we've had from that has been really tremendous. It is very rare in education that you get the opportunity to step outside your classroom doors and have real time in a colleague's classroom. So it has been our dedication as a district to try to provide the time and autonomy for teachers to have that opportunity, because we are, being as big as we are, our own best resource. So we're excited for these things and the continuation of these initiatives into next year.
Good evening, my name is Devin Orozco. I'm the Director of Science, Health, and Physical Education for the district. Hopefully you are very familiar with a lot of the initiatives on the board, as we have seen a lot of different initiatives in our individual schools that pertain to supporting a positive culture and climate in our schools. Things like the Choose to Be Nice program has really taken off and grown lately. We have some great puppet videos out there about our kids supporting one another. But specifically, I want to mention how we are expanding the responsive classroom initiative. So this year, it's really taken off in a few of our elementary schools. To note would be Port Monmouth, Ocean Avenue, Bayview, and Middletown Village, and they have really piloted the program for us this year, so much so that we are getting ready to train all of our elementary school teachers to be able to do the program in their classrooms next year, with the hope that we are going to, again, support that positive school culture and climate, and also it's going to help us hit those health standards of social and emotional health and wellness, because we know that those are some of the standards that are tremendously important to our students.
Hi, I'm Jamie Clancy, Director of Child Studies. To kind of build on what Mrs. Roscoe said, we've been talking a lot about social emotional learning, but also the mental health initiatives that we've been supporting as a district. Next week, we're actually having psychological first aid training, which is psychological stabilization, and what it really does teach our staff is how to help children and adults after the aftermath of a crisis or disaster. They will learn strategies on how to distress and foster long-term coping skills. And a lot of these skills can also be used for prevention. We also will, later in the month, be having a speaker from the Madison Holleran Foundation. Madison died by suicide at the age of 19 when she was a freshman at UPenn. She was also a New Jersey resident, and her sister will be coming to speak to our staff, and she is a mental health advocate. What we've been also working on a lot is expanding our partnerships with the different groups within Monmouth County. We had a meeting with the Children's System of Care. The participants at that meeting were Kayak, Mom and Cares, Family-Based Services, Psychiatric Emergency Screening Services, the Mental Health Association, and the Child Advocacy Center. And really, what it did was allow our staff to understand what resources were available and which ones they could directly reach out to, and which ones were more focused for parents to reach out to, but also allowing the staff to kind of understand how to promote the use of all of those services.
Hi, good evening. My name is Pat Ranella. I'm the District Director of Student Support Services. And we've really focused a lot of our attention on the vaping epidemic. We worked collaboratively with the Middletown Police Department, as well as some prevention awareness organizations. This year, we brought in Lois Springs Center for Prevention. They did a community vaping presentation for all schools, very well attended. We are actually bringing her back into our Safe Schools Committee meeting on May 22nd, I believe it is, to really kind of bring awareness to the vaping epidemic that's taking place. We're also working with CPC to bring Project Insight into Middletown North next year. It's a free 8-week based program where students can receive counseling, and it's an early intervention program for those students that may be identified for possible substance abuse. So we're working, like I said, with the police department, our own support services within the district, our SACs, and our SBSSs to really bring awareness to it. And we had a Safe Schools panel discussion where members from all of those organizations were able to kind of present to the community on what's happening in our schools and how we're addressing it.
David Surek, Manager of Information Services for the district. Continuing community political relations, we have our ongoing website redesign project, which includes district website personalization. More recently, we have our MPS Pride District Student Image Contest, which was able to showcase student work on all levels of the district. We continue to have our ongoing community feedback to acquire feedback from students, staff, as well as community members. That survey began with the inception of the website project, and will continue to stay open to solicit additional information. We continue to have our ongoing school website redesign meetings with our principals and team leaders, with the expectation that all the school websites will be completed for June 2019, and it will coincide with the release of the redesigned app at the same time. We also continually engage in communication with the hashtag MPS Pride through social media and digital media, through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, websites, YouTube, with the expectation of highlighting district evidence goals and best practices.
Hi, I'm Amy Gallagher. I'm the business administrator for the district. In the area of long-range planning, one of our goals was to continue to analyze our student population trends in order to make sure our facilities are equipped to handle those enrollments and to manage them throughout the district. We are continuing to monitor the enrollments by school. If you come to our board meetings with any regularity, you will see that periodically we do update the enrollments and where we stand with each school. We also use that data to drive our schedules and our staffing for the upcoming year. So that's something that we're in the process of doing right now. This chart and the subsequent slides break out the enrollments in detail, and what we've done is do a comparison between June, the end of last school year, and where we're at right now. So on the elementary level, you can see down at the bottom that we have actually decreased by 55 students overall at the elementary level. If we move to the next slide, at the middle school level, we are down 127 students from the end of last year. And at the high school level, we are up 145 students. The district total, if you go to the next slide, overall, we are down about 37 students. So what we have seen over the past year or so is a shift of students out of the elementary and even out of the middle schools and into the high schools. So we are seeing decreases at the elementary and middle school level. We are getting some increases out at the high school level, but overall the district enrollment is not increasing. As a matter of fact, it is still ticking down. So if we go to the next slide, what we also do in the process of doing our scheduling and budgeting for next year is take a look at on the elementary level, the current and projected section analysis. So as you know, we have 12 elementary schools. We have Normal K through 5. So looking at our student totals for this year versus the projected for next year, we have 3,873 students this year currently, 3,794 projected for next year. If you go down further in the slide, the anticipated actual number of sections that we have staffed for this year is 186. Based on student enrollment, that number could actually be 151. We're not able to do that because of the structure of our elementary schools. So the differential there is 35 sections that we are running across the district. That would be in addition to what we would need based on the enrollment. Projection for next year would be 175 that we would be actually staffing. But based on the enrollment, we would need 147. So the differential for next year would be 28 sections that we would be running across the district, that if we were basing it purely on enrollment, we might not necessarily have to go. I think the next slide is next one.
So obviously, our most important obligation is to keep our students safe. So one of our goals was to continue to collaborate with local, county, and federal officials. And our local, Mr. McGuire's Director of School Security, and myself attend monthly meetings out of the prosecutor's office for it's called the School Security Directors Association. It gives us a time to meet, kind of debrief about any of relative situations that may have occurred recently, kind of come up with a game plan. Also, one of the main agenda items out there is looking at a regional reunification plan. So it's something that we attended a professional development opportunity on from Chester County in Pennsylvania. They did a presentation on it. It's something that we're looking to possibly bring into Monmouth County. But again, it's an opportunity for all security directors in Monmouth County to kind of get together, share ideas and debrief, along with the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office and also the local law enforcement from Monmouth County. And we're continuing to prioritize our security improvements. We continue to meet on a monthly basis with all of our new approved substitute teachers, so they're aware of all of our security procedures that are in place. We are in the process of training all of our school security staff on CPR, stop and bleed, and on a biannual training schedule for CPI training as well. And conduct biannual reviews. Again, Mr. McGuire meets with the security staff on a regular basis. Anytime either a local, national, or global incident takes place, he reviews the information and they debrief and conduct training exercises within the district of how we would address those situations if they would occur.
So the last slide shows that we are addressing our goal of looking for additional revenue sources. There's a few things listed on the slide. We are currently looking at proposals. We've been discussing this in the past board meetings for our before and after care program. We currently do not share in any of the revenue from the before and after care program. So we have asked for proposals now that our current contract is ending that would provide for the district to share in some of the revenue that is brought into the district for that. We are currently evaluating those proposals. We did receive them already, so we are evaluating them and looking to make a recommendation before the end of the year. We also continue to pursue grants on a district level, and we are doing some right now collaboratively with the Township. We are working on a couple of grants in the area of safety and security, which we will bring some additional funds into the district to pay for some improvements that we are not able to put into our budget. Another area that we are going to be receiving additional revenue from next year, which is on the slide, we did talk about in our budget presentations, is in the area of transportation. We've been very successful branching out and working with other districts in the area to join transportation routes for students that are going out of district. We have done that all along through other entities, other cooperatives at the county level and the regional level. But we've actually started doing more of it ourselves, and we're going to be able to generate some revenue by sharing the cost of those routes that will help defray the cost of transportation. So we've had quite a bit of success with that over the past few months, doing that over next year. So, in conclusion, that is our presentation for our goals for this year. We are, as we said, going into the last year of our current strategic plan. We will be evaluating all of these things as we queue up for the next strategic plan to see which goals we may want to further advance and what our new goals will be. But we hope that this was a helpful presentation. It will be up on the website. And thank you.
Okay, if I could just make an announcement at this time. Earlier on the agenda, we approved a new district director. Dr. Michelle Tiedemann is in the audience. If you could just come around to the front. Michelle, thank you. We're really excited. We are saddened to say goodbye to our good friend, Mr. Dunn, who's moving on with our complete support and has done a great job, and we're grateful to all his efforts. But we are really excited to work with Dr. Michelle Tiedemann moving forward as the district director, and I just wanted to have you have an opportunity to say that.
Okay, moving on to our committee reports. Technology, Dave Suyak.
Good evening. I have a few items in this workshop agenda. The first one is security force logins. As we continue to improve our student staff learning experience, we just recently noticed an issue with students and staff aren't authenticating properly, and therefore we're not getting proper permissions online. The way to resolve this is to create a policy in a more granular way where we can actually set different parameters for different users. So we have less restrictive access options for students in high school compared to staff. This past Monday, for all staff and students, we know it's force login, and what that will do is we'll force anyone who logs into a computer within the district to log into the Google account to authenticate them. Therefore, guaranteeing that they'll set the correct policy and have the correct access to online. We have security in place that if someone doesn't log in, they're entered into the default policy, which is our most restrictive. So it forces them to log in to get the most access to online content. The second item we have for tonight is a security parent home app. It's an update to an app, and it's an application that we've had running for the past year or so. In the past, we've shared parents' insight to their students' online activity. So a parent was able to sign up for this application and receive a weekly summary of what access their student could obtain on their device. They also have the ability to log directly into the app on the website and make changes for the personal device at home. Now, partnering with security, we have the ability to offer an app that has those features and more. The app actually works in real time, so a parent can see in real time their child's activity, whether in school or at home. They don't have to wait for the weeks to send emails to come through. Two new features on the app which are pretty neat are one is flag activity notification. If a student has a concerning search, has some type of it's flagged for self-harm or for whatever not, the parent has the ability to receive a push notification right to the phone immediately when it happens. So we won't have to again wait till the end of the week for someone else. It's all in real time now. The other feature, which I'm sure a lot of parents will be happy about, is pause the internet. The parents have the ability to keep just that. They will pause the internet on their child's device when they're at home. So you don't want your child to come up with your sleeping. You just want to click on your phone and shut down that Chromebook and you would make an overexpensive either way. You can turn it back on as well. Parents can't pause the internet obviously when the student is in school. And as soon as students return to school, if the parent has not restored activity, it will automatically restore the internet. I want to report on an NPS student summer internship. Over the past month, we posted the application, we vetted the applications, we reviewed the applicants, and we held the interviews. And on the 22nd agenda, we were presenting students for a 2019 NPS student internship. We received a larger pool than last year, nearly 40 applicants, all very, very good applicants. It was difficult to narrow it down. We have an equal amount from both high schools. We actually have 3 interns returning from last summer, which is nice because they are going to be more or less our senior interns and be able to help out our younger ones because they have a year under their belt.
What grade level are they in?
The returning ones?
No, all of them.
Out of the 8, there are 3 seniors, 2 freshmen, I think 2 juniors and 3 sophomores. It's across the whole board, all 4 grade levels. I want to bring up again, Wendy Morales mentioned in the presentation about the NTPS Innovation Fair, just extending an invitation to all the board members. It is June 10th, from 4:30 to 6:30 at Green Hill High School North. And the last item I have is a voting agenda item, it's approval of technology purchases. We have a number of technology purchases that are listed in detail on the agenda. These purchases include new Chromebooks, our device refresh, interactive flat panels, our Windows 10 devices, software renewal for our website, and backup software renewal. Again, they're all in detail on the agenda.
Just a quick question about the Chromebook purchase. It looks like we're going with Lenovo.
Yeah.
Is that's the first Lenovo's in the district that we have HPs before?
Yeah, every year we bring in vendors and they offer us demos. And we work with them, we share them with the staff members, and we choose which one we think is best addition. Then we go out, all the vendors and request bids. Our finds the best bid and has the best product to go with.
With this many different vendors though in the district, because you have Dell, HP, Samsung, and Lenovo, does that create an issue around parts repairability and things like that?
Actually, it does not, because most of the parts in Maryland are the same. So the same screen will fit into an HP, fit into a Dell, fit into an Acer. Now all the companies will also go with a USB charger, so we don't have to concern about multiple chargers, different chargers. And what is nice about the Lenovo is the warranty product, warranty company vendor is the same one that we have with the Acers, so there'll be no change.
Very cool, thanks.
Thank you. Moving on to student services.
Good evening. We're going to be recommending 54 students for home instruction. We're going to be recommending 33 different providers to assist with related services such as OT, PT, speech, one-to-one nursing services, as well as assisting for child study team evaluations and other related services such as teacher of the desk. We're going to be recommending 12 companies that the district utilizes for home instruction services for students that are hospitalized or just in general when we need additional supports. Also wanted to share some information regarding for the voting agenda next week, ESY information. Right now we have about 181 students projected for elementary, about 133 for secondary. Last year elementary we were at about 196 and 141 for elementary. We're going to be recommending at this point 35 teachers. Last year it was 41. Related services, again, we use a combination of district staff as well as contract providers. That's still up in the air looking at needs. We'll be recommending again 2 nurses, 2 secretaries. Right now, we're still going to be looking at paraprofessionals, both internal and external. We just wanted to update the board on that. Also, we had update, Ms. Minu shared with me earlier regarding the Special Olympics this past weekend at the regional track meet. We had 12 students that registered, 10 wound up attending. We won 11 gold medals, 8 silver medals, and 11 bronze. And we'll be recognizing those athletes at the voting meeting on the 22nd.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, curriculum and instruction. This month we have several items on the agenda for next week that I just wanted to elaborate on. One of which is our summer program dates, our SOAR, Summer Opportunity for Academic Readiness. Once again, this summer we're going to be expanding our offerings for our students. This has been a lot of work and collaboration between the building administration, our supervisors and directors in curriculum, and Ms. Shaw, who oversees the SOAR program in the summer. On the agenda is approval for times of July 15th to August 29th, which will include our elementary summer SOAR program for our students in K to 5 for literacy and mathematics, intervention and remediation, as well as a new component to our SOAR program this summer, which is the Jump Start Math program for incoming 6th graders. That will be towards the end of the summer, and it'll give the students a jump start into middle school mathematics discovery and standards. It's an area that we've discovered in reviewing our school performance reports that the building administrators felt very strongly about in helping these students be prepared for the additional demands of that middle school math curriculum. So Dr. Kerrigan will be working collaboratively with the teachers of that program and the building administrators at the end of August to give those opportunities to those students. In addition, we're expanding our AP summer program this year. It will be a program that includes both online and in-person sessions. Because of the expansion of access to AP for our freshmen and sophomores, we are altering and including new courses, which include introduction courses for anyone new to the AP program. It will be a general introduction course of what to expect, critical reading skills that are important to be successful with that program, test-taking skills and strategies, as well as specific content classes. For example, if you're taking AP World History, AP English and Lang, AP Environmental Studies or Science. In addition to that, we'll also be offering office hours. That'll be like the online component, where students will be able to be in contact with the instructors all throughout the summer, not just during those dedicated sessions. So we really feel that this expansion will support the additional students and the expansion of the AP program to our underclassmen, trying to give them as much opportunity for success as possible to make them feel confident with this curriculum. In addition to that, we have on the agenda the approval of the replenishment of the STEM Scopes science kits for K to 5. It's a little bit more than $83,000. That's an annual replenishment. A lot of that curriculum is consumable items. They're doing a lot of labs and discovery of science topics with items that can't be used. They get consumed and they're done. We have to replace them. In addition to that, I know Mrs. Sell is going to give an update. We had a meeting the other day to talk about some of the new curriculum guides and textbooks resources that we have on the agenda to be approved. We had one meeting. If anyone, before next Wednesday, before we vote, if anyone is interested in learning more, I know you all received a summary of all the new courses that are being proposed and the resources that are being proposed. If anyone was unable to make it on Monday and they would like further explanation or information, please reach out to me, and I can certainly accommodate that, and our directors and supervisors love to talk about their courses and their content, so they will be more than happy to meet with you before next Wednesday's vote if you have any questions. Mrs. Seller.
I just want to start by saying when I was young, school was kind of boring. We sat there and there was a teacher at a podium pontificating. Well, I'm seeing such engagement now that I wish I were in school again. So we went through a lot here. I'll try to be brief. Ms. Pikas, please feel free to jump in if I forget anything important. In math, the one that stuck out for me is the Algebra 1 Honors, and Algebra 1 Lab. So they're now extending the Big Ideas program into 9th grade, or whenever they take algebra. And what I like about this is that it incorporates real-life applications of math. So there might be a video about why math is important if you're wrapping a present. So. Also, what I think is really cool that's coming in for math is they're now implementing middle school active learning math classrooms. There'll be one in each middle school. So instead of your typical math classroom, standard seating, there'll be flexible seating options, whiteboards, areas where kids can kind of move around and solve problems. Also, there are these really cool desks with these whiteboards right on the desk so kids can solve problems. In science, one thing that really jumped out to me is the human anatomy and physiology honors curriculum. There's a program it's an online program called Visible Body, and basically it's interactive. You can see the inside of muscles. It sounds really interesting. Within technology, the technology department curricula for 6th grade, for all middle school 6th graders across the district, they'll be taking a course called Skills for Success in Middle School. And it really emphasizes time management, stress management, and also digital literacy.
I just want to add that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a replacement of an existing course, Study Skills. It's a new and improved version to help support our learners in middle school this year.
Right. There's also
really cool aerospace design and technology for the high school level, and what I really liked about it was the simulation software called Prepare 3D Academic, and we got to kind of look at a little sample, and kids actually could do an online simulation, and you really feel like you're on a flight. And there's also, learning about drones and all kinds of things that kids are interested in today. Lots of other things, photography.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
The one about aerospace, and about the drones. That's a total year course, but it's only 1 year that you do that?
Yes, it's just one time that the students can take that.
You realize that that's like the future of the jobs. Children that don't want to go on to, let's say, a specific college, drones, they get licensed in that, and it became a career now. So 1 year is going to be enough for them?
Well, I mean, as it's now, it's a 1 year course, but I mean, moving forward, we can definitely consider it. It continues to grow, so I do foresee the next rewrite considering a part 2, like a level 2.
Where do we see other jobs coming for our children? I mean, when I found this out, I was like amazed. I found this out from my career, from my work, and finding out that these people have to be licensed now, really, with the drones and how they use it, of course, with police work and different, but it doesn't even your cop, it doesn't even your FBI. It's just, they hire you because you're a professional at this. So what other jobs do you see?
And it's amazing because that's why we're so focused, I think, on STEM here, is that every day with new technology, we're seeing new careers being born. And we're trying to keep up with it.
Very exciting.
We're taking robotics classes, the gaming classes, the photography, advanced
The
drawing.
gaming class is in because every day, it's amazing.
And talk about keeping students engaged. I mean, those classes sound so great. One big item is the revised social studies curriculum for the middle school. So this affects a very large population. All 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students will be affected by this revised curriculum. It incorporates the new New Jersey standards for financial literacy. Basically, the state mandates that we cover 6 standards throughout middle school. Well, we choose in middle school, I guess, but anyway, 6 standards, and we can kind of choose where they go. New curriculum is very student-centered, and there's an emphasis on inquiry-based learning and problem-solving, very much unlike social studies when I was a kid, when we just sat there and had to memorize dates and dead people and all that. So that's what it was when I was young. And there, of course, there are many other courses here, but for the revised new fine performing and practical arts department, Mr. Graziano already talked about the dance component, so that's very exciting. And in English, this was discussed earlier in the student success portion, but they revised the English Language Arts Department curriculum for 9th and 10th grade, starting with a new name for the course where it used to be, let's say, American Lit, now it'll just be called 9th grade English. And what I really liked about it is that rather than studying all the same core novels, instead there might be one core novel that the class does together, but there's a lot more choice. Basically, the idea is to create lifelong readers, and for kids to read a lot and different genres. There'll be book clubs, a lot of choice, so I really liked that. And they also revised the kindergarten through 5th grade language arts curriculum. Again, a lot of choice, whole class lessons, small group, one-on-one conferencing. So there's a lot to be excited about in the world of curriculums.
I have a few questions. On the Arts Academy, how many kids have signed up and how many kids are from high school south?
Oh, I'm not aware, maybe you visit.
Next year, for both grades, I believe it's 73 students will be enrolled in the Arts Academy. Collectively, Yeah,
Yes,
for
from
freshman
the
season.
6 and 11 students are from the South Central District that have been accepted for next year.
And will you keep us informed in September if those 11 students actually come over? Because I know last year we had a bunch, and by the time school started, we didn't have them anymore.
Yes, for sure.
And then we picked up some actually too, though, along the way, so it was good.
And we actually,
Not as many as this, this is a larger number.
we actually had some current students who are 9th graders in South, who are coming over, one actually was coming over for dance, and one from art, actually. So one current 9th grader that was going into 10th is now transferring to 4th.
So they're doing a dance academy, they have to come to North.
Yes, yes.
The other thing I have a comment on is the STEM clubs after school. I hope we're keeping an eye on them for attendance-wise and for things that they're doing there to keep the interest of the kids, because like you say, things are changing. It seems like we could be losing some kids, but they're not really attending those clubs, so maybe we need to do something to engage them, to get them back in and get their interest going with everything that's changing. I mean, I definitely would hope that we're looking at the attendance of them, because it's a good club. I think that it's something that our kids should be involved in, but if they're not being offered something to make them want to come, they're not going to come.
I can speak for a STEM club in another district. I run robotics in the STEM clubs after school, and attendance is great. Then sometimes in the fall and in the spring, certain times when sports start, there are just too many things for kids to do. So that could be part of the declining attendance.
No, that's not really what I'm getting at.
Okay.
I mean, that's your district. I'm concerned about Middletown.
Well, we have sports in Middletown.
And I'm not worried about sports. I'm worried about what we're offering in clubs that are going to keep the kids wanting to come. So that they're not coming after school and there's nothing really going on. So they leave and they go someplace else or do something else. You know, I think it's important that we keep that kind of a club, but I really would like to make sure that we're doing what's right for the kids during that time, because we are paying stipends and we are trying to get the kids engaged in this kind of stuff, so we want to make sure they're doing something.
There is an oversight over all clubs, and the building level administrators and also Mrs. Walker, Assistant Superintendent, review those, the attendance and all those things, and the principals review that to make recommendations from year to year on which clubs are best attended and most viable. So I agree, attendance is really important, and our administrative team is absolutely aware of that and reviews that and supervises that.
I have a question. On the clothing and construction and fashion, and fashion and home decor, and sewing and fashion. Are these new?
No, they're revisions.
They're
All of-
revisions.
All of them?
Yep.
I'm glad that was.
I was trying to listen to the whole list, so that's it.
Yeah, I'm glad, no, because I couldn't tell what was new as you see, we printed it out, we're looking at it, because I could not get it in here.
They're revisions.
I was there, I would have loved to have heard everything about it.
If you have any follow-up questions, please call.
No, it's exciting for our kids. It's really very exciting. It's tomorrow's teachers class. I mean, like, it's a lot of things being worked out.
A lot of work, a lot of
I wish we
curriculum
could
development.
put some of this a little bit down as far as in middle school and like, personally, like that thing that had to be successful in middle school. In a way, I wish they had that in the fifth grade. Look at the business. So when it gets to middle school, they're not taking a class on how to be successful every other day.
I think the fifth grade teachers are doing that, a lot of organizational skills, study skills related to fifth grade. I think just the nature of the schedule of sixth grade creates some difference in the day for students, so it lends itself for a time to give them additional support, but I totally agree. And that's something that our teachers are always addressing.
Very exciting.
And we're always looking to grow our middle school electives, and that's something that's on our radar. I see them all shaking their heads, so.
Very, very exciting. I had a question about the Honors Academy, the Arts Academy, the Honors course in animation. Is that something that you have to attend the academy? You don't have that at South, you have to
in the academy?
Do you want to address that, Ms. Morales?
Sure. Yes, it's only offered at North, but it is open to North students if they have taken graphic design and if they're taking the class. So this coming year, there will be several students who are not academy students because we will not fill that class the first year.
Okay.
Now by next year, it may fill because we'll have over 20 digital media students.
Great.
The following
Thank
year.
you.
So, yeah.
Very exciting. Thank you for putting all the information on the portal. I sat in the comfort of my own home and went through it all. Oh, this is still like 100 questions. It was good. Thank you. All right, moving on to facilities finance.
Information items for the board. We have started organizing all of our summer work. We have projects going on in each building. Nothing like we had last year. We have major projects going on. We do have quite a few things. As we get more organized and work starts to progress, we will put a list together for the board and give you apprised of the progress. But we are already starting to do that, so we wanted to let you know.
What is the holdup on high school North Auditorium sound and light?
I'm going to get, that's on my agenda, yes. So, high school North Drainage Project, we just wanted to let you know that we are still waiting for a comment from the BOE. So we have awarded the bid, but we have not been able to start the work because we are waiting for a permit. We have been trying to reach out to get that expedited, and we're hoping to get something soon so that we can get started on that work. If something isn't doable, so that's not a required part of it, but that was something we were trying to get pricing on also. We had bids ranging from $667,000 up to $1.2 million for this project. We were very disappointed. We had talked to the architect before this went out to bid. They all felt that the scope of work that we had put in out would fit within our budget. Apparently, it didn't. The two bids that came in were pretty close, so that gives you some idea that that's probably about what the work is worth. 1.2 million being an outlier from once because we have an impacted time frame for this to not tie up the auditorium. The other option would be to evaluate and see whether it would be possible to fund the cost of the projects over the 400,000 that we had budgeted. That we have not evaluated yet. We don't have funds budgeted to add to this project. It would then be something to be reallocated, but as of right now, we're still looking at the possibilities. But it's likely that we're going to have to reject these bids at next week's meeting, and we might want to put a plan out there to go back to the drawing board and see what we can do.
Didn't we have this problem when we did South too? We ended up spending a lot more money.
It wasn't a lot more. It did come in more than what we'd estimated. If my recollection is, we'd estimated about 160 or 170,000 for the lighting project there. It came in a little over 200, so it was over, but not this magnitude. So we have not had a chance to really sort out what exactly to do, but at this point, it doesn't fit within the budget that we have, which we're really disappointed about. We're going to continue to talk to the architect and see if there's things that we can do to get this within the budget. But again, that would have to be rebid. We can't just pick and choose what we do out of this bid. So that's something. No architects. So we will continue to look at that. Well, you can't change a bid. When you put out a bid with a specific specification, you can't say, well, change that, without giving opportunity for others to bid on it. Yes. So we're not allowed to do that. We will have two other bids that we're opening tomorrow that will be on the agenda for next week. They are regular fencing and masonry bids that we utilize throughout the year. We usually do a one-year bid with a one-year option so stay on the cycle. So we have not opened those bids. We're opening them tomorrow, and we'll have them on the agenda. So that's all we have for finance. The only other thing is some of the finance, facilities and technology is we are also going to be looking to put the purchases that we budgeted for TV studios likely next week, so that work can start budget number that we had was a good number because we had gotten it all spec'd out for the cooperative, so it's not gonna be a situation where we're getting a price that's what we budgeted is what it's gonna be. So I can email you that tomorrow. I looked at my notes and I forgot what it was. Yeah, that covers all high schools. So then moving on to finance, just to give you an update on some of the RFPs that we've been looking at. We did talk about the before and after care presentation that we just did. So we are currently evaluating those proposals. We received 5 proposals, I believe, and one of them is from the Y, who currently does our program. So we will be evaluating different options available there to come up with a recommendation to move forward for next year.
Can I just ask a question about that? Did I hear it right before when you were explaining it that we're looking for some kind of revenue from them?
Yes, we are looking to, we currently, the program that we have now, we don't charge a facility fee, we don't receive any financial benefit from the program. But, you know, as in our strategic plan, one of the things that we are looking at is evaluating either running our own before and after care program or getting some way to share in the revenues that we can generate by that program. So we're looking at both options. We determined that having another company come in and run it would be the best thing to do for the district cost division. But it's very common for districts to either charge a facility fee or get some share of revenue from these programs. So that's what we're looking at. But of course, they also have to include in their proposals what the rates would be that would be charged to the parents. So both our ends have to be evaluated. Also, we are currently evaluating the staffing services proposals that we received. We received 5 of those as well. We did have a committee meeting to review all those proposals. We had narrowed it down initially for 2 firms to come in to get further interviews with. So these were posted on the information that we get from that process. We are also evaluating proposals for our new copier contract. I know we talked about that in previous meetings. We received proposals. We are going back and forth. They all are state contract proposals, so we have some latitude to negotiate as far as what exactly we're proposing. So we are working on getting a final recommendation for that for the board to approve as well.
So is everything being are you using less copiers?
Are we making less copies? Yes. Yes.
You look at it. You're looking at my copies. You didn't make that.
Our budget was good until.
Okay,
I saw the great.
I need paper once in a while.
We are making less copies than in the past. And we're actually, with the next contract we have, looking to implement software that will provide more controls for the access to the copiers. It'll give us more tracking on where copies are, who's making copies, where copies are being used. We know that machines might be copies, but for what purpose, and allow people to send things to different copiers, and it will give us more control over that whole operation. The next thing that we have under finance is we have a few voting items. We'll have our financial reports that are on the agenda. We also have the various reorganization appointments, and those have all been laid out on the agenda. There are several that are listed in the table that are as a result of the extensive RFP process we did last year, where we had 3-year proposals. So for those that are referenced to those RFPs, this will be the 2nd year of those proposals and the fees that were proposed under those proposals. We also have a safety grant application from New Jersey school boards. We will be submitting that to the amount of $59,727. That's our allotment for next year. We are proposing to purchase a visitor management system for all the buildings with those funds. So we will be putting that in for approval. The board has to approve the application and due, I believe, June 1st. So we'll be submitting that. We have also, they're required to approve the 1920 tax levy accrual schedule. Every year we do this once we finalize the budget. We then set a schedule with the township. The township collects all the tax money for us and sends it over based upon the schedule. I have submitted the schedule for the township CFO to review. I haven't gotten her feedback yet, but it's very similar to the schedule we did last year as far as percentages of funds and the dates. So I don't anticipate there being change, but as a courtesy, we work together to the schedule. Make sure that we have nice cash flow. We have transportation renewals and transportation bids that are going on the agenda. We do have to rebid some routes this year that contractors return to us. So we do look to renew when possible because we're held to that CPI as far as the increase goes. The contractor's not bound to renew it. So we did have some routes that returned to us that they did not want to do. Basically, for lack of a better explanation for that price, they don't want to, they wanted to put it back out bid. So we had to finish that process and evaluate everything. We don't have a final accounting because we're still in the process of bidding routes. Some of them are coming in higher, some of them are coming in lower. And we have other things, the savings money. So when we get done with bidding out and renewing all of the routes, like I normally do, I can give you an overview of where we stand versus last year. We also have bus evacuation drills on the agenda that we're required to do twice a year. That will be this month for the board to approve. And I think that's all that's listed in the finance for this month.
Thank you. Student activities.
Item is just an informational item to our testing around. If you look, we're adding the marking period dates to the full calendar that was previously approved. Sometimes it doesn't work out really well with the
You need to hear mic on, we can't hear you.
Okay, so, if you have any questions, I can answer them. This isn't a voting item, this is just an informational item. As Mr. Ranella mentioned, and I had sent an email on May 22nd at 3:45, we have our Safe Schools Committee. It's a committee we have twice a year, and there's 2 members of the board that are designated for that committee, plus a parent and staff member from each school. But we're opening it up to the whole board this month because we have a really good speaker in Francis who's coming to speak on vaping. She was the person who did the presentation, or one of the people that did the presentation that we had here in March. It was actually the same night as the board meeting. So if you're interested, you're all invited to come. May 22nd, and it's up in the PD room at Central Office. At 3:45. We're also submitting the Child Assault Prevention, which is the CAP grant, for next year. We've been doing this for many years. It's a child assault prevention program that's done with our kindergarten and 4th graders, and also some of our special education classes at the secondary level. It includes sessions with the students, and they're very developmentally appropriate, as well as parent sessions to explain to them and kind of extend it to the home the same message. So that's on the agenda. And there's also one research project. Mr. Virginio is going to do a research project, and he's going to study basically training administrators to foster self-reflection in our teachers. And so he's going to do some training and then study how that works with our administrators. And that's all I have.
Is that for a college course?
Excuse me?
Is that for a college course?
Yes, it's for his doctorate.
And how do they do that? Is it on our time or their time?
It's on their terms.
So
And it would have to be volunteers for our administrators after school to get training, and then he follows up to determine how effective that training was.
Thank you. Moving on to shared services.
I'm sorry, we just had one more topic on student activities. We received communication last month, we approved the contract for volleyball in Middletown. So we received some communication last week from that group, although we approved that contract. They are requesting at this point to revise the contract. The contract that we teams for each high school level staff, no boys, no girls, varsity team. At this point, because their fundraising efforts are not what they can hope, they are looking to, for next year, start with just 2 teams, a combined North South team, 1 boys team, 1 girls team. So they want to revise the structure, which would then lower the cost and, of course, the payments that they would have to give to the board. So they have proposed that. We did receive their first payment was due May 8th or 9th, and they did give us a partial payment on that. They are looking to give the remainder of the payment within a 14-day grace period that's provided in the contract, but they are looking to do the lower amount. So I don't know if we've discussed it as the administrative team with Mr. Carroll, and I don't think there's any objection from our standpoint to reduce the scale of the program and have it combined teams. I believe that's the way so, I don't think it's an issue to do it that way, and it's on the discussions that we had, but we need to let them know this is a contract for Well then, so if the total payments for the years would be about 24,000, we received 6, so it would be about 18,000. Well, there's a payment that was due in May, that was half, and then the other half is due in November.
And then by November,
By November, yes, because we were getting funds in advance of taxing entitlement places. Because once we commit to a coaching contract, so we don't hire the coaches, so we have the funds in the company.
Thank you. Shared services.
I would ask. We met the 13th with the township. We had a very limited agenda, focused agenda. 3 items I just want to touch on. First, fields, always a topic. There was the discussion of Bayview Field. We re-raised the idea of utilizing Bayview and putting investment there. The township did push back. What the township is looking for is a facility where they can have lights and where they can see a net gain in usable fields. The fact that Bayview is surrounded by residents, there's not much of a buffer. They feel that lights would probably be a no-go over there. So what they're looking to do is, within the bounds, the confines of the County Green Acres grant process, is to sort of organize the township recreational facilities by centers. For example, Tiffin is a tennis center, McMahon is a baseball center. And so that's the approach that they're taking to try and identify where they want to make the next round of improvements. There's more to come on that. They haven't done anything, but they do have a deadline of September to come up with something. What that means for us as a school board is that there is no guarantee that our facilities will be included in this process. It's nice, it's good that they're keeping us in the loop on this, but we may not get the improvements that we discussed. So again, more to come. Talk about library usage. We have a program in the district where kindergartners are issued library cards. We're expanding that program. However, it sort of runs into a blocker at the library where the sibling of the kindergartner has a library card that has significant outstanding fines, then the kindergartner will not get the library card. So everybody in the room felt that was maybe a little bit punitive. So the township agrees with us, and they go talk to the library board, trying to find a way around that. Everybody agrees, and ties in nicely with the curriculum. That we want readers, we want them at a young age, we want them engaged as much as possible. We also talked about alternate ways to pay fines, such as doing donations, food drives, cook drives, whatever, to compensate for any fines that are owed. So that was a very productive discussion. Finally, it's been a topic, a couple of meetings now. Traffic at Thompson, particularly the intersection at Middletown, Lincroft with Dwight and Nutswamp. That is a fairly treacherous intersection, and then you add in dismissal and arrival traffic at both Thompson and Nutswamp. It doesn't become sort of untenable. The county is looking at this, they're looking to make improvements. They did come and speak to us as a board last year. The township let us know that the county is moving forward with some plans here. As they become firmed up, we'll be kept in the loop with that as well, but that is ongoing. So that's it for short services.
Thank you. All right. And on to strategic planning. We have a strategic planning group now. We have the Princeton Public Affairs Group. So congratulations to them, and we look forward to working with them. Excited about that. We're also excited to be working with the members of PIC and the President's Council, who have offered to keep in contact with us all summer and get feedback from their PTAs and PFAs about what parts of the strategic plan we want to focus on in the future. So I'm really excited, really positive about it. I was going to say if John wanted to add anything. Anyone else want to add anything about the strategic plan?
One thing I would add, I was at the Middletown South PFA meeting last night and made a pitch to that group, and I think it's important. I know all of us have our schools that we've sort of adopted this year, and the PFA, PTA calendars are winding down, so any opportunity we get to get in front of those groups of parents is an opportunity to advise them that strategic planning is on the way, that they should be looking for invitations to meetings and sessions, and that we're really looking to them to participate with us, that they really want to succeed in that community. It was fairly well received. It's a harder sell to high schools because high school parents sort of get detached. The push that we were making there was that they have long memories, they have kids who've been here for 12 years, they have opinions about the direction they want Middletown to go in, so their opinion is as valuable as the elementary or middle school parents.
And it's even something you could reach out to in an email or something. I know both of my adopted schools are having their meetings tonight, so I can't be there, but I can email them. That goes for everybody as well.
What is the next step now that we hired Princeton? When do they meet with the board and let us know, like, one of the things they talked about was how they plan to get the public engaged. So that's really what we need to get out to the groups and the community. So what's the next step on that?
Well, the next step will be tomorrow, we will reach out to them and let them know that they've been appointed. And I know in their proposals, you're going to lay out timelines that they would be starting to meet with the board in a short time frame. So I'm going to speak to them tomorrow. I'm sure that they will start formulating the communication to the board to get things up and
Because one of the topics that they discussed was they were going to come up with a plan on how to do this. So when people are asking us how it's going to go, we really can't speak on that because it's really up to the company to direct us how they plan to go about it.
I think to say that we're at the beginning steps is an overstatement because they literally haven't been told that they're hired yet. So I think we've got another month or so of discussion with planning. We have to get them here. We have to see what their plan is going to be. So everything you said, I agree with 100%, but I think that to set anybody in the public's expectation that we're doing something about this, in the short term, I think misleading. I think we need everybody needs to know this is the process that's at the ground floor, and over the summer to start looking for communications. I think that's appropriate.
Well, that's why I asked the question. I need for us to do something, but I know that President's Council reached out and they wanted an update, and I suggested to Pam, it's really not appropriate for us to go there and give a plan because it's going to be the company's plan. So,
We can ask them for an action plan.
Yeah, and it's gonna
I don't
take
think we
time,
can do it
but-
by Monday, I mean, that
No,
would be amazing.
they're not gonna get to it by Monday, and I know that, but that's what I'm saying, so it's gonna take time, it's gonna take over the summer. But I think some people are really impressed that it's gonna happen tomorrow, and it's not. And that we have to plan, and we really don't yet.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to get out there.
But I would say based upon the timelines that we discussed during the whole, the discussions with the board, that it will be sooner rather than later. And whatever they ask for from our administrative team to get them up and running, I mean, the first thing I have to do is look at our existing plan and everything else. And we will certainly try.
Just from a practical perspective, I mean, we're obviously having people with calendars get on, so the key thing is going to be running out dates, so we can put them in our calendars and get there.
Well, I will discuss with them, you know, what our board meetings are over the next couple of months, and perhaps something can be coordinated with that.
That would be perfect.
Okay,
Thanks, David.
Thank you. So moving on to old business. Okay, no old business. Moving on to new business.
I just have one thing. It was nice to see that our North and South lacrosse team boys played at Met Stadium, but I never got the answer, who paid for that? Was it the lacrosse group, or was it the district that paid for Met Life? I never did get that answer.
There wasn't a cost to MetLife other than the buses. We would have, for the teams to go, we would have paid for the buses to go. There was a cost to spectators, and the spectators paid that. To the best of my knowledge, there was not a cost to the teams.
Okay, so my last question is, on the website, it said that all the proceeds went to high school staff lacrosse team. Why did it only go to one and not split between both?
Went to North.
I'm just going by what the website said, it said proceeds went to high school staff lacrosse.
We'll investigate that.
I mean, if we're going to both on fund that, I just want to make sure it's equitable, because the North and South.
I wish I knew that question.
We have a member of the public.
I did say that, I did say that question.
I believe my ticket said that the proceeds went to the Middletown North lacrosse team for our website for buying tickets.
Yeah.
So I believe it went to both schools.
Yeah, just depending on.
Correct, depending on who you bought for.
Okay.
Each school had their individual link.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else have new business?
Yeah, I just have one thing I want to add. So on May 3rd, I got to see Court Mama's Theater Week show. It was really great. It was the Wild Wild West in a town that was plagued with millions and millions and millions of rats. But it was wonderful. I brought my 7-year-old son, and you know, usually halfway through sometimes these shows, it really kind of loses his attention, and he loved every minute of it. In fact, actually, he keeps talking about it, so much so that for the first time, he's actually thinking about participating in Theater Week next year at Bayview, which he has not wanted to do yet. So this really inspired him. And one of the greatest things, I think, for me, and clearly for all of the parents and family members in the audience, was just the pure joy of watching all of these kids up on stage. They only practiced for 1 week, you know, maybe 2 hours, hour and a half, but the job that they did was phenomenal. And the director, you know, and unfortunately I can't remember her name, but, you know, clearly she loves what she does, and it just comes through the excitement, you know, that she has for working with the kids. So I really enjoyed that, so thank you. And we are 1 week away from a very exciting event, the Leonardo Elementary fundraiser, where teachers and a couple parents and myself will be playing against the Harlem Wizards right here at High School North next Wednesday, starting at 7 o'clock. I know there's a competing board meeting that night, but remember, the public portion doesn't start until 8, so you can come at 7 to watch the play. You know, my son keeps telling me after he watches the promotional video that I'm never going to score a basket. He's probably right, but it'll be for a good cause, so I hope everybody can come.
Thank you. I have something too. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I got a lot of feedback from teachers all over Middletown not only is it most teachers' favorite week of the year, but the PFAs organize such great events for the teachers. So, just a shout out right there to teachers and for the PFAs who organize such great things for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
The other good thing about that is a lot of the schools emphasize staff appreciation, so nobody is left out. And I think that that's something we're going to see a lot more in the future.
I went to the Food Truck Festival at High School South last Friday, and it was so much fun. They had all these games out there on the football field at High School South, and you didn't have to pay for any of it. And as someone with 2 children, you have to pay for everything when you go to a carnival like that. So I was excited that they had these free games for my child to play. It was so fun. And then we bought our food and our ice cream, and it was really great to see the bands too. They had some rock bands with kids from High School South and High School North, and I believe they were alumnus as well. And I sing in a cover band, so I thought that was really cool to watch these kids up there. Just, I know how much joy it brings me, so it was just nice to see these young kids having so much fun up there. It was great. Anybody else, new business? All right. I would like to open up the microphone for public comment. Thank you so much for waiting so long. We do have a limit to 3 minutes each, so please come on up.
Good afternoon, George, Board. My name is Bill Summers, and foremost, I have 3 young children under Mr. Ferry's building, his staff at Middletown, on his staff. I wrote this letter last night in distress about what's going on with Michael S. I'm going to put this letter down here, and I have to speak to everybody from the heart. I've known Michael S. for 5 years. I've had a lot of intermingling with him and his family regarding my birthday parties, outside events, and a great guy. And there's one thing that I have to say about Michael Essie that I think everybody in this room could appreciate. Michael Essie brings value, not only to his wife, his children, but to the New Monmouth community, and Middletown Township in itself. And with that being said, I really think that this board should just revamp and look at the people that are speaking on behalf to grant this man tenure. And that's all I really have to say, but this man brings absolute value to this community. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Falcone. I'm the father of 2 children that go to Middletown North. I'm also the president of Hockey Middletown. I thank you for allowing me this time to speak. As the president of Hockey Middletown, I have the pleasure of watching Coach Leslie interact with both junior varsity and varsity players for the past 3 years. In those 3 years, he has been a model of excellence in being a coach as well as a mentor. Things such as compassion when a player got cut, concern when a player got injured, or a counselor for players who just needed to talk. Hockey in Middletown runs an annual skate with special needs children, and it's by far the most gratifying thing that you will see, and everyone that attends it has a smile on their face. Children, parents, coaches. Every year Mike takes a personal day off just to attend this special needs skate. He could easily save that day for his family. He doesn't. He makes sure that it's on the agenda, and he takes care of it every single year. He helps me set up the whole skate, but more importantly, he's on the ice with the kids smiling from ear to ear. That smile is not something that he puts on his face, it's something that's there. Many times in the past 3 years that I've organized this skate, I've noticed children that are afraid to get on the ice, or children that are just worried about being on the ice. One thing I noticed, Coach Alessi will skate over to the door. That child, whoever it may be, will look at Mike, smile, and you damn know it. He gets that kid on the ice, and that kid smiles, and Mike smiles. That shows the trust and respect that these kids have for Coach Leslie. Another a few instances of how Mike is genuine and caring that I can explain to you is my son told here previously about playing hockey. Well, as he mentioned, he broke his collarbone a couple of times. Each time, Mike was the very first person to contact me. But more importantly, he wasn't the first person to contact me. He kept in touch with my son, weekly. How are you doing? How can I help? John, don't worry, we're gonna get you back on the ice, because he knew that that was the most important thing to my son at that time. I've been involved in sports for 40 years. I've never had a coach that ever done something like that for me.
Excuse me, sir, sorry to interrupt you, but you have 3 minutes or up.
I'll wait 4 hours and that's what I get. Thank you.
Set aside for public comment. The policy of the board restricts or limits rather that time to 3 minutes per speaker, particularly when there is a room full of people who are waiting to speak. So that's not just respectful of the individual speaker, but also the other people who are waiting to speak. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Tommy Stone, and I've had been blessed to have 2 children with Michael Lessie in New Monmouth School, and now that they're in North, my son plays hockey. And if you talk about what a loss is, it would be Michael Lessie. His dedication goes beyond 8 to 3. Parents involved with the scouting have seen him after school to prepare for the next day's activities. He's involved with and he motivates the students and team to be involved with. As John said, he is a Middletown skate with students with special needs. My kids were lucky enough to have him. He's involved with every kid on our team, good or not, and I can tell you, he played every kid on the team. While some of us crazy adults question his methods, at the end of the day, he put the kids first, stuck to his guns, and with his soft-spoken demeanor, reminded the parents it's about the kids. At the banquets, he had a special speech written for every kid, and on the team, and not just how good and thank you for playing with us, he knew something about them. With Mike, it's personal, and I had many good teachers, and I know many dedicated people in the education system. Mike is part of the community. This is what we want our children to see at the age where cell phones and technologies have their attention. And I've never seen a man so influential and loved and touched so many. Even his little son talks to adults and answers questions yes or no, and is not shy. It's a testament to his parenting skills. Mr. Lessie has known, anyone that has known Mr. Lessie, he has touched in some way. Please consider these great qualities. He is what makes our education system work. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got 2 kids in the New Monmouth.
I'm sorry, can you just state
Excuse me?
your name? Just state your name for the board, please.
Carolyn Defko. I've got 2 kids in the New Monmouth Elementary School, and both my children cherish Mr. Lessie and the time that they had with him for gym and health. I realize that there is a lot of bureaucracy that goes into these staff decisions. It's not a simple process of asking back. I'm not asking back teachers, but I would pray that when decisions that greatly affect the development and the happiness of my children and countless others are made, that they are made with true care, thought, and consideration. These are not just employees, but people, particularly in the case of Michael Lessie, that can, in an extremely positive way, greatly impact the growth and the character of our children. no teacher that I would rather trust in shaping my kids' characters than Michael Leslie. You should really examine Mr. Leslie's performance, certainly, but more importantly, examine his integrity, his kind spirit, and his heart. And if all of those things were accurately evaluated, I, as every other parent and child that is here to support him, believe that Mr. Leslie would be back for the 2019-20 school year and well beyond that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shannon Claudio. I'm a parent to 2 children who go to Middletown North. I'd like to read a letter my son Zane wrote on behalf of his coach. He wasn't able to be here this evening. His letter says, "Dear Middletown Board of Ed, I'm a student at Middletown North. I was part of the ice hockey team under Coach Leslie's leadership for 4 years. My freshman year, I was cut from the varsity team, which disappointed me very much. With Coach Leslie's leadership on the JV team, I learned not just how to be successful in the sport, but also the mindset I need to have success in life. He told me that the only way I will overcome obstacles is by pushing forward and by working hard. His philosophy towards perseverance and keeping a positive attitude not just influenced me, but many other players that were under his leadership. I am thankful to have had a coach throughout my high school years like Coach Leslie. As I graduate this year, I will always remember the contributions he made to our team. He always knew how to effectively communicate with us in a way that gave us pride, even when we lost. He's been a positive role model. He has taught me lessons both on and off the ice that I hope to someday pass on to other kids as a coach myself. I hope that other students in the district will have the opportunity to experience Coach Leslie in the classroom as well as on the ice for years to come. He has made a lasting impact here in Middletown. And that Zane Claudio is graduating this year, number 90, being given back.
Hi, my name is Mary Falcone. I have 2 sons that go to Middletown North. I know a lot of things that go on in these meetings have to do with dollars and cents. And unfortunately, we can't hire and keep teachers and evaluate them positively for several years and then tell them when they're up for tenure that we don't need them anymore. That is not the case with Michael Leslie. I'd like to think that the reason why you hired him is because he's qualified, and you've kept him here for years because he's qualified. And dollars and cents, that doesn't add up to me. And as a taxpayer, it is our dollars and cents that keep these teachers here. We want quality teachers here. We want quality people. We want quality mentors for our children here. And Michael Leslie is one of those guys, and we need him here. So I would strongly urge you to reconsider this decision. There's not one person you could find in this room. We all know Mike is a nice guy. He's a great guy. Everybody here will tell you that. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody to tell you otherwise. But that's not why we hire him. That's not why we keep teachers. We keep teachers because they do their jobs and they do it well. At least I hope so, here. I would love the board to tell anybody, his family, any of us here, what are the determining factors that make his contract not renewable. I'd like to know. I'm sure he'd like to know, maybe, who knows? There's definitely something to be said for somebody who's been hired, gets excellent evaluations every year, and then all of a sudden, we don't need him anymore. That doesn't make sense for me. So I would definitely urge you to reconsider that, because not only is Michael Leslie a nice guy, and he's a great guy, but he does impact our children. Children who are general ed kids and our special needs kids. They thrive with structure and consistency And to take those things away from them, to me, would be a travesty. Thank you for your time.
Carl Zabriskie. I have 2 kids in North. Earlier, Dr. George, you mentioned it was important to hear from the children and students, which I think is absolutely crucial, because that's the kids and the people that will be impacted by this decision mainly. The first elementary student that came up here, I mean, he cried basically thinking about losing a teacher of Michael Essie's caliber. I mean, if that's not enough impact right then and there, I mean, decisions should be made already, but beyond that, I heard Tommy Stone talk about the fact that Michael Essie puts in extra effort. I'm one of the scoutmasters from Troop 122 that we have our meetings at New Monmouth School. Never knew Michael Essie, but for the last 6 years, I can see this guy always at the gym, 7 o'clock, getting things ready for an event that's coming up, I guess rope sticking, whatever it may be, he's always there doing something. So very forthcoming, comes up to us and calls us a very open, great guy. Fast forward, my son plays hockey, had Coach Alessi as a coach. Again, you get introduced to him formally at the banquets, and nothing but respect for the guy. Again, he has the kids' interest firsthand. My son's a senior now. He was applying to colleges. He'd already been accepted to colleges, and at the banquet, Coach Alessi then came up to us and, hey, how's Jack doing? Unsolicited. Anything I can do for Jack, letter of recommendation, whatever you need, let me know. I mean, that to me is something that, again, shows, who has the kid's best interest at heart. It wasn't solicited, obviously, maybe we should have taken him up on it, but, he already had something to school, so it worked out, but, all I can say is, again, looking back at the kids, kids shouldn't have to cry thinking about losing their teachers. So, hopefully you read these there.
Hi, I'm Allison LeBaron. I am not a parent of a hockey player. I have 3 children at New Monmouth, well, one is at Cornell. And we have been lucky enough to enjoy Mr. Alessi and learn under his guidance. And the important point that I think everyone here is trying to make is that when we do evaluate character, and we look at a person and their abilities, it's not just on education, it's not on your credentials, it's not on your tenureship. And I know that is the true measuring act here, but Mr. Alessi is the character that we want to see our children become, the guidance, the role model. And there aren't many strong characters that we see in this world today. Our influencers are social media, young men that think jumping off boards onto pools is cool. Mr. Alessi is an athletic role model who teaches our kids to utilize their strengths, their abilities, their endurances, their brains through health. My kids have truly been inspired by him from 7 to 12 years old, to the point where they wanted to come here. I knew it would be too late and I wouldn't allow it, to stand up for him. And that's a testament to these children that are here to say, we believe in something so strongly that you need to establish another way to measure a person before you make a decision to cut the position. Because it's not just about your tenureship and the time you put in, it is well more than that. And our world needs to revolve around those influencers that really create that value. So I know what business is like, but I do believe that there's got to be a way to reassess the budget and figure out how to keep Mr. Alessi.
I am brand new to just the public school in general. I came from Catholic school in South, right down the street. I'm a teacher there as well, so I am an outsider coming in. And I only can speak to you about Mr. Alessi through the eyes of my children, who are in kindergarten and 3rd grade. And he does something called Wellness Warriors every morning, and he's the reason why my children get out of bed, actually out of bed, every Wednesday and Friday on time, without us having to have Wellness Warriors Day, let's go. And also they don't really talk about their day. It's like, how was your day? It was fine. What did you do? And then it's after recess. They always tell me about gym. They always tell me about health. No offense to math or science, but I really don't care about that. So as kind of like a newbie coming in from a completely different world in private school, the love that everybody has for him is pretty outstanding. And just the rallying behind him has been pretty amazing. And I completely understand budgets and I completely understand tenure. I get it. But I'm just hoping that there's just a teeny tiny little bit of hope that
it's hard. Just to touch base on what the last two parents said, the little boys that were here tonight, they have such a love for Mr. Alessi. They were all crying themselves to sleep tonight. When I woke up my son this morning for Wellness Warriors, I said to him, "Bud, you want to get upset about Wellness Warriors?" He looked at me and said, "Isn't today Wednesday?" I said, "Yes, we have Wellness Warriors." And he said, "No, isn't today the day people fight for Mr. Alessi?" And I had to explain to him that we're not fighting, he didn't do anything wrong. I'm trying to explain that to an 8-year-old little boy and his friends, that he didn't do anything wrong. But what we're trying to teach our children is that you have to stick up for what you believe in, and you stick up for what is right. And that's why they were all here tonight. They're trying to tell you guys that he's right for them. They came in here crying and running out, and crying themselves to sleep tonight, wondering if they did a good job. So with that said, my oldest is coming to North next year. I've been in mom for 11 years from preschool up. And that's, I know there's wonderful teachers. I love New Mom School. My heart and soul is in that school, and will remain there. But Mr. Alessi is truly, truly different. And he really deserves to see the kids meet him. I hope you guys can. Thank you.
We have time for one more speaker.
My name is Jermaine Curcio. My son Brandon is a 3rd grade student at New Monmouth Elementary School. Mr. Alessi has been his gym and health teacher for the past 4 years. My daughter Madeline is in 7th grade at Thorne Middle School, and she had Mr. Alessi for 2 years while she was at New Monmouth. We've been advised that Mr. Alessi will not be returning to New Monmouth in September. This is very upsetting to us as a family and as a school community. Mr. Alessi is one of the best teachers that New Monmouth has. All the children love him and are so excited when they have gym or health at school. The kids have such a great time with him. He makes things fun as well as educational. Mr. Alessi goes above and beyond his title. He serves as our crossing guard in our parking lot for the morning drop-off, making sure that the kids are getting into school safely. He greets everyone with a warm good morning and a smile. Whatever we ask him to do, even being our dunk tank at Fun Day, he always answers with a yes because he does it for the kids. He's always visible at any events that the school has after hours. He's attended our welcome back picnic, our color run. He's participated in our 5th grade versus staff basketball game for several years. He even showed up to our 5th grade car wash this past Saturday to support our students, which was 2 days after he received his pink slip. He continues to be there for the children even when he's been given notice that he will not be returning. He's been entirely dedicated to the children of New Monmouth and they love him. Please do not remove him from our school. He would be doing such a disservice to the children, to his fellow faculty members, and to the New Monmouth community as a whole. Please reconsider your decision and keep Mr. Alessi in our school. Thank you.
Thank you all for speaking up. If you have anything else to tell us, you're welcome to email us about your concerns. We really appreciate hearing from all of you. And just all of you being here, it just speaks volumes. I need a motion to adjourn to go into executive session for matters of non-bargaining contracts.
Ms. Devin, have general personnel,
Even I start to get a little like, oh.
I need a second to go into executive session. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Abstentions.